Early gobble gobble, everyone. We are here. We are in double-digit week 11. We are more than halfway through the NFL year, and it is a doozy. We had a lot of good games, a lot of telling games this past week. If you were kind of on the cusp on some teams, I think you got a lot of answers on Sunday and Monday, for that matter. And we're going to cover it all here tonight. We are going to cover a bunch of stuff because we are not going to have an episode next week because of the day of thanks, which is Thanksgiving. We will be watching football with you, but we will not be reporting the football because we have lives, people. We're not just here for your entertainment, even though we are. We're here for ours as well. But tonight, we got a lot for you. Tonight, we have the cross-off list. We're going to tell you what that is later on. John has a Twitter beef with me, which we will settle here on Perfect Spiral. Today, we are going to cover some teams, as we always do, and the games that happened this past week. Like, are the Philadelphia Eagles a playoff team? That's a real question, folks. That's a real question. The Vegas Raiders are back, and that's not a good thing. And who is the best team in the NFL right now? Is it the Green Bay Packers, or is it the Tennessee Titans? It's a great question. We're going to answer it for you here today on Perfect Spiral. We got our game picks, which I actually went 0-5 this week, so I need to redeem myself. And our fantasy sleepers and busts. Well, if you weren't sitting down, you better sit down now because it's about to get heavy. There's going to be turbulence before the end of the tunnel. Get ready. PSP episode number 39 is right over the horizon. Spencer, hit the tape.
Play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
Jonathan,
Hello, Joseph.
how are you?
I'm doing good. I got my Chipotle burrito bowl here.
Excellent. I love how we sponsor without being paid to sponsor certain places every week. Starbucks, Chipotle. I wonder what's next.
We always have something. I got double brisket today. $6 for double brisket.
That's a lot of money for double brisket.
It's very worth it. My mouth is on fire right
Wow,
now.
he said it's worth it. Listen to that. Ad of Chipotle here for John. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, I'm glad.
Pretty good. A little bit of a headache. Scratch my cornea.
Oh, that's not a fun experience.
No, it's feeling better, though.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. That is my co-host, John McCarthy. I am Joseph Miglio, and welcome to Perfect Spiral, episode number 39. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome, where this is a podcast about 24/7 coverage and analysis of the NFL, the best product in American sports right now. And if you are looking to follow us or listen to our episodes, you can do so on any of the major podcast platforms, including Apple, including Spotify, including Google, including Deezer, Stitcher, Buzzsprout, or Pandora as well.
Everywhere.
Follow, subscribe, leave some comments. We want to hear from you. Thank you so much. That being said,
We have to settle something, Joseph.
before we get into the crux of our episode, John has a problem with me.
I do have a problem with you.
Okay, John, why don't you tell people at home what you have a problem with?
So Joe on the Twitter just started throwing out some absolute... Put the trophy down, Joe. It's not yours yet. Put it down. Leave my baby
It's
alone.
gonna be so beautiful when it is mine.
You're lucky I didn't make the trade I was going to make today. You would have been done for.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, okay.
Put the trophy down.
That's hilarious.
It's staying here for another year.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, so Joe on the Twitter decided to start some trouble.
It wasn't trouble.
It was trouble.
First of all, tell them what the question was.
All right, so PFF Fantasy Football put out a picture, and it was 2, 4, 6. There's 8 wide receivers here.
Okay.
And it says, choose 3 young wide receivers to start a team. Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb. Joe responded.
Okay, first of all, let's. It's a very good collection of wide receivers, and in my opinion, there's really no wrong answer. But I tried to give the most educated answer.
Okay, so wait. So Joe put, give me one gadget guy, Deebo. I agree.
Right, okay.
One possession receiver, Lamb. That's where I disagree. And the explosive guy, Chase. Thank you and good night. Okay, so CeeDee Lamb. Justin Jefferson is far and away better than CeeDee Lamb, and it's not even a homer pick. It's not even a homer pick.
No.
But why, though?
Okay.
I know he's your grandson,
I'm gonna tell you why, okay? First of all, let's cancel out all the. So you agree with the Deebo?
Yes, Deebo is the best
First of all,
gadget.
do you agree with my thought process on how I would pick the guys?
Yes.
You want one explosive guy, you want one gadget, one like kind of do it all receiver, and you want one guy who you could go to on third downs.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Right? Deebo's a no-brainer for me.
No-brainer for me.
Right?
Yep.
So, can I see the picture? Just I want to. Okay, so when I think of possession guys, I think of Michael Pittman.
Yes.
I think of CeeDee Lamb, and I think of now. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even have Jefferson in the possession receiver group. I put A.J. Brown in the possession receiver group.
So you had
my
Jefferson.
deep threat receivers were Chase, Jefferson, and Metcalf.
That makes it even worse then. Why do you not have him in the possession?
Because I think he's your big play guy. And that offense, I think Adam Thielen is the possession receiver.
To an extent, yes, but Jefferson's definitely coming to that role this year.
But Jefferson is the explosive guy on that offense. And when I made that selection, I broke. See, that's the reason I picked Deebo. Deebo's in a category all by himself out of those receivers.
Yeah, of course. He's the only one that does that.
He's in a category all by himself, right? So Devontae Smith, I didn't even give the light of day. I would have put Terry McLaurin in that group instead of Devontae Smith, but that's just my opinion. Okay. I think in an offense, right? There's a reason I picked Chase too. In an offense where there are multiple receivers who have an extremely good track record. Okay. And an offense that is explosive. Okay. And Jefferson kind of falls into this category too, but not to the extent that I believe that Chase and Lamb fall into. Okay. I think that both Cincinnati and Dallas have better quarterbacks than the Vikings do. Is that fair to say?
I'd say yes. I'd say Burrow and Cousins are similar.
But I think Burrow's clearly got the higher upside.
Yeah, he's a younger player. Yeah.
Right, okay. Minnesota. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to say Minnesota definitely has probably the biggest upside to the running back situation with Dalvin Cook. Okay. Dallas clearly has the best wide receiver trio of that whole group right there.
Trio, yes.
And CeeDee Lamb, okay, has become the number one receiver in that offense. And he has become the number one weapon in that offense. An offense that includes Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and himself. Okay? He has taken that next step. Okay? Jefferson, who's excellent. I'm not even denying. This isn't about. He's very good.
Yeah, no, of course.
He's very good. Okay? I think that Lamb, personally, and this is not because I own him in fantasy. It's nothing to do with that.
Not because you're related to him.
Not because I'm related to him at all. I just think that he is a guy who is going to be, and already is, a top 5 receiver for the next 10 years in the NFL. I don't know if I could say that about Justin Jefferson. I don't. I don't know if I could say that about Jefferson. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't know if I can.
We're gonna just have to agree to disagree.
Why do you
totally
think Jefferson is better than Lamb by that much?
I feel like, first of all, Lamb does have a little bit of a drop problem to me.
Everyone has drop problems.
I know, but Jefferson, I feel like, could run more of the route tree. I feel like his routes are cleaner. I just feel like overall he's a stronger receiver than Lamb.
Like physically?
He's more
stronger?
physical than Lamb is.
Right. Okay, I'll give you that.
He is absolutely a clean route runner. If Cousins could get him the ball more, I feel like it would change your mind. But Cousins has struggled getting him the ball this year. Right or wrong?
Yeah. But I think that's also on the wide receiver, too. It goes both ways.
CD gets peppered in that offense now.
Why, though? Why does he get peppered in that offense?
Well, he is a mismatch in the slot.
Okay.
But
my
we're just
point.
gonna have to agree to disagree. Listen, there's no wrong answer. Like we said, there's no wrong answer. It's just I think
AJ Brown is not great. I think he's good. I think he's a product of the offense.
Yeah, AJ Brown is.
Metcalf is very good, but I think he struggles getting separation.
He's limited. Yeah.
From receivers sometimes, and I think purely he wins some of those matchups because of his size.
Yeah, sheer
which is
mass.
great, right? You know, but while Lamb isn't great at route running, he's good. He's not great. He's good. I think he gets more separation than Jefferson does.
Interesting.
And he distances, and he's more explosive after he has the ball in his hands.
That I can agree with. Okay.
If I had to compare Justin Jefferson to another receiver in the league today, it's Keenan Allen. That's who I compare Justin Jefferson to.
That's amazing. Now, who do you compare CeeDee Lamb to?
Who do I compare CeeDee Lamb to?
It's a good question because then if you're saying that Jefferson is Keenan Allen, then who do you think CeeDee Lamb is? DeAndre Hopkins? I mean...
That's a good comparison, too.
Because I thought you were going to say Hopkins for Jefferson.
No, I think because you're saying route runner, clean hands. That's Keenan Allen to a T.
Yeah. Mr. Consistent.
Mr. Consistent.
That's what you named him?
He is Mr. Consistent. Let me think on the CeeDee Lamb one.
All right, we'll circle back to
the
it.
end of the episode. So that's settled. Fair.
Settled, yeah.
Settled.
Fairly settled.
Before we get into our teams for the week, John, we wanted to bring to you a new segment, a one-time segment called The Cross-Off List. The Cross-Off List.
Well, it may come back if like maybe in like a week or two, we start crossing off more teams.
All right.
So we got to cross off a bunch today.
We are going to cross off teams that we believe have no shot, 0.0% dead in the water of making a Super Bowl run. Now, John, what constitutes a Super Bowl run? Is that one and done in the playoffs? Is that not making the conference title game? Where do we draw the line for not even considered for a Super Bowl run?
All right, so I mean, when we look at the list,
because some of these teams we say may make the playoffs.
Yeah, so basically I'm looking at, in my head, what I'm thinking of a team that's going to get crossed off is a team that, like you said, has zero chance. But like, for example, if we're looking and we're saying, well, the Browns, because we're going to go off of our power rankings.
Right.
Power.
We're going to go from 32 to 1.
32 to 1. Let's say the Browns are 19, for example.
Right.
I'm crossing the Browns off.
Me too.
Wow. Because I simply don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's where the benchmark is.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we each pick a team? We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Pick a teams, right? And we will say either yes or no to cross off, and we'll say what their ceiling is.
So the first like 19 are really easy, right? So
right. So like obviously we're not even gonna discuss the teams that are like completely out of it. Like so Lions, Texans, Jags, all those teams. Not even gonna discuss.
But there is a team at that 20 that I want to mention.
From the 32 to 20 range.
32 to 20, yeah.
Okay.
So Seattle
cross off.
You're crossing off Seattle.
100%.
I'm crossing them off too.
Crossing them off. I think now they're not out of the playoff picture.
They're not,
because the NFC sucks. So it's very top heavy.
Yes.
The NFC. I believe right now the current number 7 seed is like 4 and 5 or something like that.
The Vikings are still in it too.
Yeah, Vikings are 4 and 5. So I think 3 and 6 football teams like the Giants and the Seahawks are still in it. Which I think is crazy. And I think it's a product of the fact that there's now 7 teams that make the playoffs, which I wholeheartedly disagreed with when they made it a thing.
I disagreed with it too.
But this is where we're at.
So we're crossing off Seattle.
Definitely crossing off Seattle, and I don't think they make the playoffs. And I don't think they make the playoffs because they have to compete with teams who I think are genuinely better than them, even with Russell Wilson. Teams like Seattle, teams like New Orleans, teams like Carolina, who I think is better than them. San Francisco, who we should get to at some point. We're going to get to. We're going to discuss them in a minute. And even a team like Minnesota, who I think is better than them as well.
So you mentioned this team. This is another team in the 20s I want to ask you about. There's two more I want to ask you about within this range. Carolina.
Crossing off
Carolina. I'm not crossing them off just yet.
Really?
I'm not going to cross off Carolina.
You know why I'm crossing them off?
Why?
Because of Cam fucking Newton. That's why I'm crossing them off.
Listen, I'm not going to cross them off. I feel like they show a lot of promise some weeks, and then some weeks they look terrible.
So you think they still have a Super Bowl run in them?
No, I think they have a playoff run. I think they can make it into the playoffs. Say they make it into the wild card. That's impressive for that team.
Is it though? They started off 3-0.
They started off 3-0.
And then they lost 4 in a row after that.
Well, Sam Darnold was absolutely horrendous. And some of those games, the defense was lights out.
Okay. All right. Cam Newton is not a good quarterback.
Joe, he's more of a weapon than Sam Darnold.
They're the same level. They are the same quarterback, bro.
I don't think he's good. I'm not saying Cam Newton is incredible.
Did we forget that Sam Darnold had the most rushing touchdowns after 3 weeks?
Yeah, and then he got hurt, and then he started to suck.
So he literally does what Cam Newton does. Like, they have the same skill set. Legitimately. Darnold doesn't have a strong arm. Neither does Newton. Sam isn't overly accurate. Neither is Newton. Sam can take off when he wants to. So does Newton. What the fuck is the difference?
McCaffrey's healthy now.
Right. So that's another
Gilmore addition.
It's another reason for Newton not to run the football because McCaffrey's back there.
I think it creates a little bit of a problem for defenses. Listen, Cam, at the end of the day, Cam still can run the football.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
Look at what he did in New England last year.
I know. He had like 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, and when he looked and then passed the ball, what were his numbers?
It was terrible. But
horrifying.
Listen, let's see. I'm not crossing them off.
Crossing them off.
Okay.
I'm crossing them off.
The Raiders. I know you wanted to talk about them. You want to just talk about them now while we're doing the cross-offs?
No.
Okay. They're off.
No, I'm crossing them off.
I'm crossing
frauds.
Them off. The Browns are crossed off. Now,
now hold on. Time out. Mm-hmm. My cross off for the Raiders has been since your apology to them back in week 3, which if you go back and listen, I refused to apologize because I said I needed to see more.
So you saw more and you're crossing them off.
Cross more. I never believed them from the start.
The first ever cross off in Perfect Spiral history. Before this segment was even created, you crossed them off.
The Raiders are not making the playoffs.
They're not.
It's not happening.
Nope. Too much has happened to this team this year.
It's not happening.
Nope. You're right.
Browns, do you think they make the playoffs?
No.
You think they're out?
I think they are out. Listen, there's too much of this team has had too much happen this year too. That's another team. The Odell Beckham situation, Chubb, COVID, hurt, Kareem Hunt, calf injury, still not back.
So right now,
Baker hurt.
Right now they're 5-5, and other teams that are 5-5 include the Denver Broncos, include the Indianapolis Colts. Teams that are in their area also include the Raiders.
Patriots
also include the Chargers. Patriots are 6-4, so that's
close.
A close area. Steelers are 5-3-1. That weird
stupid tie.
So yeah, I mean, so you think they're in that category, but you're saying there. Who do you put? Do you put the Raiders ahead of the Browns or the Browns ahead of the Raiders?
Browns ahead of the Raiders, but
do you put them ahead of the Broncos?
You know what? I don't.
I do. I put them ahead of the Broncos for sure.
The Broncos
I'm
are
crossing
frisky.
I'm crossing them off as a non-Super Bowl contender.
I mean, I crossed the Broncos off anyway.
Right. But I'm crossing the Browns off as a non-Super Bowl contender. I do think once Chubb is healthy, that they could maybe make a late season run. I can see 10-7 if they get right.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I could see 10-7. 10-7 may get them in.
I'm still crossing them off, though.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm done with them. I've seen enough. I'm done. Now we're going to go into our 18 to 1.
Okay.
Now, this is where it gets hairy because there's a lot of good teams here, and some are going to get crossed off.
Okay.
Now, a couple I want to dive into, Joe.
Okay. Who's number 18?
Number 18 is Philly, which we are going to get to later. I'm not crossing them off.
For a playoff run, I'm definitely not crossing them off.
I'm not crossing them off. I think they still have a shot.
Super Bowl run, definitely out.
Yeah.
But playoff run, no, I'm not crossing them off.
I'm not either.
Doors open.
It is open. 100%.
Doors open.
Minnesota, I'm not crossing them off.
I am. I've been off that train all year long.
You have been off that train. You can't.
I've been off the train all year long. I just think they are going to lose a close game when they need it.
Oh, like they've done all year. You want to know something funny? A funny stat about Minnesota? They're the only team in the NFL this year to lead every single game by 7 points or more.
Even furthers my reason why they're off.
It's kind of ridiculous. But I'm not going to cross them off. Maybe it's a homer pick, but
I'm crossing them off.
the Saints.
Yes, crossing them off for a Super Bowl run because of the quarterback situation.
I'm crossing them off as well.
I just don't know. If Jameis was healthy and playing, I wouldn't cross them off. I want to make that announcement. But because it's Trevor Siemian, I like Trevor Siemian. As he seems like a nice guy, but he just doesn't have the talent.
Do you think they make the playoffs?
No.
I don't either.
I don't. I think there's a lot of other teams in there. We're going to get to one in a few. In a second, who's not in the playoff picture currently, who I think will, at the end of the day, will be in the playoffs.
Cincinnati.
Not crossing them off.
I'm not crossing them off yet either.
I'm not crossing them off for a Super Bowl run.
Wow. Hot take. Okay.
I think there's a scenario where the Bengals make the AFC title game.
I think they could go on that Titans run that the Titans went on a few
Okay.
years ago.
All right,
I agree with
fair
you. I see it. I do see it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through a couple more of these quick. The Steelers, I'm not crossing off. I don't think anybody would cross them off right now.
I'm crossing them off for a Super Bowl run.
But not for the playoffs. You think they're going to make the playoffs?
I don't think them making the playoffs is a foregone conclusion.
Interesting. How so?
I don't trust Ben. And TJ Watt is hurt now.
That's true.
I don't trust
Claypool's
Ben.
hurt too.
I don't know. I mean,
The pedigree just makes me not want to cut them off, though.
I know the Steeler thing, whatever the case may be. Let's if we're gonna play this game, I want to go through it really quick. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Joe's pulling up numbers.
I'm pulling up schedules
Oh.
because I want to know what the Steelers schedule. So the Steelers they're in LA, play the Chargers Sunday Night Football. Mm-hmm. That's not a gimme.
No, it's not.
Okay. Then they're in. These are the Steelers' next 3 games. Okay, just 3, right? Oh, actually, I am formally saying right now on this podcast, the Steelers will not make the playoffs this year.
Full cross off.
Full cross off. This is their remaining schedule. Okay. Now, this is a team that just tied with the Detroit Lions. Okay. In LA, Sunday Night Football. In Cincinnati, following week. Home to the Ravens after that. In Minnesota, after that. Home for the Titans. In Kansas City. Home for the Browns. In Baltimore.
Tough schedule.
There is not one game on that schedule that you could say, Steelers got that in the bag, no problem. Not one.
No, there really isn't.
Not one. They have all those games left. If you're asking me today, right, and it doesn't look like Ben's going to play next Sunday night in LA as of right now. So to me, that's a gimme for the Chargers. Without Ben, I got the Chargers all day long at home. Okay? In Cincy, at home for Baltimore, let's argue they go 1-1 in that stretch, right? That puts them at 6-5-1. Okay? In Minnesota, I don't think they win in Minnesota.
No.
I don't think they win at home against the Titans. That puts them at 6-7-1. I don't think they win in Kansas City, who's going to be playing for a high seed at that point.
Yeah,
that's 6-8-1. Let's say they beat the Browns at home. That puts them at 7-8-1. Then I think they lose to the Ravens at home in the last week of the season. That puts them at 7-9-1. I am out on the Steelers.
Wow, there's the very. I'm going to stay in only because of the pedigree, but I see what you mean, and I could totally see that happening. 100%. It's a very tough schedule down the stretch, just like they had last year. 3 more teams I want to get to before we move on to the next segment, Joe. Really quick.
Okay.
I'm going to save the best one for last.
Okay. The best one.
The best one for last. So the first team I want to get to is the Colts. Crossing off? Because I'm not.
No, I'm not crossing
either.
them off. I'm not crossing them off.
Frisky team.
Not crossing them off because I think there's the AFC is so wide open where I think there's a scenario where they could go to the AFC title game.
I agree. I think that they are that team as well.
You really think so?
I do. Run game, solid quarterback play by Wentz. Let's just say it. He's been really, really good this year.
Yeah, it wasn't that good this past Sunday.
No, but listen, it's better than it was. We're talking about a quarterback who everybody thought was dead to rights, who now looks like he could be the most
Listen, I'm going to say
most
this.
improved player.
I think that offense is very, very, very similar to what the Titans run in Tennessee.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? If Jonathan to end, again, I watched the game because they played the Jaguars this week, and I'm very proud of my team because they stuck with the Colts all game in Indianapolis. After the first quarter, the Colts outscored the Jaguars 17-0. Right? Mm-hmm. Why? Because Jonathan Taylor had 90 rushing yards in that first quarter.
Yeah, he was
simply
a man
put,
possessed.
Right? Do you know how many yards he had after the first quarter?
How many?
I think like 30. And the Jaguars promptly outscored the Colts 17-6. The Colts didn't score another touchdown after the first quarter. Did not. So I'm going to say this. If they come across a defense that is very good against the run, right? I think they will struggle. Mightily. Prime example, if they play New England in the playoffs, they're screwed.
But their ceiling, you saying,
if they play Buffalo in the playoffs, they're screwed. If they play the Chargers in the playoffs, give me the Colts all day long because the Chargers can't stop the run to save their life.
And we're going to get to them next. So, Chargers, I'm crossing them off.
I
what
know.
Are you doing?
Well, I'm not because of the quarterback and their talent. Why are you crossing them off?
They cannot stop the run to save their lives.
No, they can't. The same breath, though, the Rams can't stop the run, but we're not going to cross them off.
But wait. There's something weird going on with the offensive play calling and the coaching there. Why did they, in the beginning of the season, they had the training wheels off of Herbert, and now the training wheels are back on Herbert?
I can't answer you that question.
Why did Mike Williams just regress?
Because he's Mike Williams.
Why is Keenan Allen slowed down just a pinch? Like, why did they suddenly put the training wheels on the offense, like as if it's week 15 and you already have the division locked up, and now you're like, oh, let's just get to the playoffs healthy?
Well,
why did that happen?
I don't know. I can't answer that for you.
And that's solely why I'm crossing them off, because listen, this team could either make the playoffs or miss badly the way that it's been going for them. Every game that they've played, Joe, they don't, except for the game they played against the Raiders, they've won each game by 6 points or less. All close games. Yeah. And against a lot of bad teams.
I think that there's definitely another gear that offense can go to. You know what I think the problem is that offense? I think that's an offense that should be playing 2-minute offense every possession they get.
Yeah.
They have the tools. They have a dynamo running back. They have everything you want in wide receiver core with Allen and Mike Williams.
And one of the best young quarterbacks
in the NFL. So I think there's definitely the gear. I'm not crossing them off. I don't think they're going anywhere near the Super Bowl. So I'm crossing them off for a Super Bowl run, but I'm not crossing them off for a playoff appearance.
Gotcha. Okay. The last team I want to get to, Joe. Because every other team here, I mean, still is in contention. Ravens, Rams, Chiefs,
right,
Bucs.
that's obvious.
It's not even a question. The San Francisco 49ers.
I'm so glad you saved them because I am not crossing them off for a Super Bowl run.
We dug into Kyle Shanahan a little bit a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to cross this team off. Could they make the Super Bowl? Absolutely, after what we saw last week. Frisky team.
Here's where you're gonna tell me, or I'm gonna say if they're gonna make a Super Bowl run or not. So far, for the first 10 weeks of this season, this team has not been anywhere near consistent. Mm-hmm. It may be because it's injuries, or whatever the case may be. That game they played on Monday night against the Rams was the most consistent game I've seen them play in terms of play calling, in terms of defense, and in terms of offensive efficiency. Everything was clicking. They are 5-0 against the Los Angeles Rams the last 5 times they've played them. That is a fact. So for some reason, Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. Can't tell you why, but he does. Okay? If this team, it is clear as day, this football team needs to run their offense through Deebo Samuel. Bar none. Not George Kittle. Not Elijah Mitchell. Not Trey Lance. offense needs to run through Deebo Samuel. The 49ers did a phenomenal job last night, or 2 nights ago, of getting Deebo away from Jalen Ramsey. Moving him around, putting him in the backfield, everything.
They're the best motion team.
Every which way.
Yeah.
They did a great job of doing that. If they could find a consistent way to do that, then I think they could be a Super Bowl team. Because I could see them beating in Arizona in the playoffs. I could see them with fully healthy. I could see them beating a LA Rams, obviously, in the playoffs. I could see them beating a Dallas Cowboys if all the boxes are checked in the playoffs. I could see that.
Yep. I can too now.
I could see that, you know? But at the same time, if they, win 4 in a row and then lose 2 going into the playoffs, I'm out. They need to be hot going into the playoffs for me to think they're going to go that far. If they limp in, I think they're done.
Yeah.
It's they're one of those teams that I think they need to be clicking on all cylinders. Unlike a team like Tampa Bay, who if they have their division locked up in week 15 and they go 0-2 in the next 2 games and finish the year like 11-6 or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to write them off because they lost their last 2 games. The Niners, I will.
I think before we move on to the next segment, I think it's promising that they did this coming out of a bye week. Weren't they on bye last week? I believe
no. They got blitzed by Arizona with Colt McCoy the week before.
Wait, never mind. Okay.
The Rams came out of a bye and laid an egg.
Yes. Okay, you're correct. Wait, no, the Rams are on bye this week.
Right.
I think the 49ers were on bye.
Were they?
I'm looking right now. Hold on.
I don't think they were. But before we move on, teams that I crossed off include the Raiders, the Vikings.
You're right, they weren't on bye.
The Browns. Who else did I cross? The Steelers. I crossed off the Steelers.
You did.
You did not cross off the Steelers.
Did not.
You crossed off the Chargers. You crossed off the Browns as well. I crossed off the Vikings. You did not cross off the Vikings.
I did not.
You crossed off the Raiders. You crossed off the Broncos. So I think is an interesting area that we're in. We always talk about playoff races towards the end of the season. Who's going to last? Who's not going to last? Who are the locks for the playoffs, right? There's, in each conference, really quick. You got Ravens, I think, are a lock for the playoffs. Titans, of course. Bills, of course. I think the Chiefs are a lock for the playoffs.
I think they are too.
Right? Those are your 4. There's 3 spots left. You can't tell me today that the Patriots, the Chargers, Steelers, you can't tell me those teams are locks for the playoffs. Not yet. Not yet. So we're talking about 3 open spots in the AFC, right? Mm-hmm. In the NFC, I think it's a little more clear cut, right? Who's going to make the playoffs? The Cardinals, the Rams, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Bucks. Those 5 teams, I think you could safely pretty much say those teams are in. Even if they go 500 the rest of the way, they're good.
They're in. Yep.
Right? And those teams are going to go 500 the rest of the way. They're going to have a winning record the rest of the way. That leaves 2 open spots for San Francisco, Seattle, Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta,
Minnesota.
I'm getting there. Minnesota, Philadelphia, and you have to include them, the New York Giants. All right? They're 3-6. They're a game out of the playoff spots. Those 8 teams that I just mentioned, John, okay, are all within 2 games of one another with 7 games to play. It's a lot of games. 2 spots for 7 teams, wide open. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun run.
It's going to be fun. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to cover who we liked or disliked this week. Be right back.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want.
All right, John. Well, after our crossover segment, we're going to talk about a couple of teams, what we liked this week, what we didn't like this week.
A little bit of a rapid fire.
You have a couple that you want to cover.
I do.
I have a couple that I want to cover. Before we do that, let us let you know what happened this week in the NFL. So, starting with the best team in the league, Jacksonville Jaguars. They traveled to Indianapolis, and they lost to the Indianapolis Colts, 23-17. And what was a surprisingly good game. It came down to the last possession. We just mentioned the 49ers throttled the Rams on Monday Night Football, 31-10. The Chiefs threw all over the Raiders on Sunday night, 41-14. In the game that Patrick Mahomes returned to the land of the living. Thank you, Patrick. I traded for you 4 weeks ago, and you finally showed up. Rest in peace, James. The Packers blanked the Seattle Seahawks in Russ's return, 17-0 in a frigid Lambeau. The Eagles with an impressive win in Denver, 30-13. The Vikings got a close victory, John, in LA against the Chargers, 27-20. The Panthers, behind the return of Cam Newton, defeated the Arizona Cardinal. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins-less. Arizona Cardinals 34-10 in the desert. The Lions and the Steelers kissed each other's sisters in a tie, 16-16. In the ultimate game of who wanted to lose the game more, nobody actually came out on top. The Bills put an end to the Mike White era in New York by beating the Jets 45-17 in a game where the Jets defense gave up 45 points in back-to-back weeks in a row, which is truly embarrassing. Tennessee Titans just got by the New Orleans Saints 23-21 at home, which may have been the best game of the weekend. Shocker in Washington, the football team takes down the Bucks 29-19.
Brady had a bad game.
Interesting.
He had a bad game.
Brady struggles against the Washington football team, huh?
Yeah, and Tyler Heineke, that's the only time he shows up against Tampa.
Patriots inserted their will against the Browns 45-7 in Foxborough.
New England.
Huge win for the Patriots.
Love New England.
Cowboys, let everyone know that last week was an aberration as they absolutely ran over the Falcons 43-3.
So bad.
Good Christ.
It was 38-3 at the half.
Horrifying. And then, which seems like a world ago, on Thursday night, the Miami Dolphins shocked the Baltimore Ravens 22-10. And John, that's where I want to start. I want to start on Thursday Night Football in Miami.
All right.
Okay? I covered this game for the Twitter account. Okay? And I'm not going to lie to you. That was the worst offensive game plan I've seen all season long by the Baltimore Ravens. Kudos to the Dolphins. Played great defensively, right? But let me stand up to say this.
Joe is standing up. He's moving the mic and standing up.
Okay? For the Ravens to run their offense through Sammy Watkins and force the ball to Marquise Hollywood Brown instead of giving the ball to their best offensive receiver, who is Rashad Bateman. And yes, he is a rookie, but he is already their best wide receiver. And their best offensive weapon in Mark Andrews is a crime. A crime.
Football police are after them.
And I'm going to put some of the blame on Lamar Jackson.
We just praised this man last week. I feel like we cursed teams.
Okay? No, but honestly, we could praise one team one week and then kill him the next week. You know why? Because I've seen he's better than that. I've seen him be better than he was on Thursday night. He forced the ball to those guys. I don't know why. Has Rashad Bateman not shown more promise than any Ravens wide receiver has shown in the past 20 years? Genuinely. Genuinely.
As a rookie?
Yes.
He's probably one of the best rookies they've drafted. They might have hit on him.
He's better than Hollywood Brown already.
Bigger, more physical, of course. 100%. I agree with you.
And is Mark Andrews not a top 3 tight end in the league?
They don't utilize Joe, you know they don't utilize him
But
nearly enough.
Here's the problem. The one drive, they did utilize them. Both. They scored a touchdown. Peppered Bateman throughout the drive, and Andrews scored the touchdown. Bing, bang, boom, done. It was that easy. The rest of the night, they are literally trying to force the ball into Hollywood's hands. Literally forcing the ball into Sammy Watkins' hands. I did not understand it. And there were about 4 third down plays in the first half where it was 3rd and long, and they threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage to like Devontae Freeman for nothing.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Nothing. It was horrible. John, it was horrible. And that's the type of play calling that if they do that crap in the playoffs, they're going to go home early. They better fix it now.
Joe has called the football police on the Baltimore Ravens.
Fix it.
That's Coach Joe, everybody. So the next team I think we should go over. And I was going to go over the Colts, but I think we glossed over them in the cross-offs. Just they are a interesting team.
They're Tennessee Titans light. That's who I think they are.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna deep dive too much into them because we did speak about them a little bit. The next team I want to get to though is the number 1 seed in the NFC,
which is the Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. Joe, I'm gonna say this right now.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna say this right now.
Oh boy, here we go.
Get the aggregators. Get ready. They're the best team in football. I'm gonna say this.
Wow.
Through 10 weeks, we all know nothing.
Wholeheartedly disagree, but that's fine.
Nobody knows anything, right? Every week it's changing. One week it's the Rams. One week it's Tampa Bay.
I know what you're going to say.
The Green Bay Packers have been the most consistent team
After week 1.
Joe, when was the last time Aaron Rodgers had a defense like this? Wait, I'm going to go through it.
Okay.
So week 1, we'll say that was an aberration.
Right, they lost 38-3.
38-3 of the Saints. Aberration. 35-17 to the Lions. Close game against the 49ers, which might have been the game of the year.
Right. Oh, I remember that game, yes.
27-17 against the Steelers. 25-22 in overtime against the Bengals. So they beat the Steelers, 49ers, Bengals. 24-14 against the Bears, whatever. 24-10 against Washington. Mm-hmm. Not a great team. 24-21, they win against the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. Great game. They lose to the Chiefs, but only give up 13 points to the Chiefs.
Okay.
That's saying something to me.
Gotcha.
Then they go and beat Seattle 17-0.
So you're telling me, you know what I got out of that?
What?
They haven't given up over 22 points to an offense since week 1.
Yes. Listen, this
and
team,
that's all it's all without Jair Alexander.
Without Jair Alexander. And now they're going to be down Aaron Jones for 1 to 2 weeks.
Right.
But A.J. Dillon, who has calves the size of my house.
Thunder thighs, baby.
Thunder thighs. He steps right into the role, and he does fantastic. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about the guy, he's still Aaron Rodgers. Granted, he looked a little lost against the Seattle defense that actually looked kind of good last week. Whatever. I'm not... we spoke about Seattle. Green Bay has been so consistent. Not to mention, factor in Lambeau Field. This run sets up nice for them when you see a team like the Rams who have faltered back-to-back weeks, right?
Right.
You see a team like the Bucks struggling.
Right now.
Cannot stay healthy.
Right now.
Right now, struggling. Cardinals, health is a concern. Right? 49ers, getting there, but still not in the playoff picture. Right now. Well, they're in, but you know what I mean. Consistency, Joe.
Forgot to mention one team, John. Conveniently.
So, which one did I forget?
You forgot to conveniently mention the Dallas Cowboys.
Listen, and I'll say this. I think Aaron Rodgers could carve that defense up. Let's be honest.
I think so too. I think if that was a playoff game, that would be an offensive shootout.
It would. 100%.
And that's not a thing to say again, because we're talking about the Green Bay defense. I like the Green Bay defense.
I think it's fantastic.
This Devondre Campbell has been excellent all year long.
Rashawn Gary.
Sean Gary's taken a step forward. And like we mentioned before, Jair Alexander, I thought when Jair Alexander went down, I thought that was really going to cripple that defense. Really thought it was going to cripple that defense. It's done the opposite. That defense has been excellent all year long. And not to mention, Zadarius Smith went down earlier this year.
Yes, he did.
He's out for the season.
They brought in Jalen Smith and cut him.
Right, brought in Jalen Smith, then they cut him. So they're doing this without their top guys, which I think is interesting. And I think it's great. I think it's a great story. My concern with the Packers, and I really don't even disagree with you if they're the best team in the NFC. Well, you said football. That's why I disagree with you.
Yeah, I do think they're the best.
I think they're the best team in the NFC right now. I need to see it. I need to physically see it. I need to see them get over that hump in the playoffs because we mentioned this before when we were talking about the whole Aaron Rodgers saga in the offseason.
1-4 in NFC Championship.
1-4 in NFC title games, right? And he won his first one. So he's 0-4 in his last 4 NFC title games.
Especially the last 2 years. He's
Okay.
0-2. Yep.
So I need to see it to believe it. I need to see it. I need to see them get over that hump. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If they can get to the Super Bowl this year, they will win it.
100% they will win.
If they get there. But they need to get there. Right now for that team, getting there is the problem. They get close, but then they can't finish the job.
It's true. Yeah.
So they have maybe, right now, pound for pound, the best head coach in football.
He's up there.
Do you know what Mike LaFleur's regular season record is since he took over? Matt LaFleur.
Yes.
Sorry, what did I say? Mike
You said
LaFleur?
his brother, who was the offensive coordinator.
Right. Matt LaFleur's regular season record is so far as an NFL head coach.
It's absurd.
Okay, this man currently, what are they, 8-2 this year?
They're 8-2 this
They're
year.
8-2 this year. He is currently 34-8 as an NFL head coach in 3+ seasons.
It's impressive. It's one of the best starts ever to a head coach.
That is insanity. He went 13-3 in back-to-back seasons and is now 8-2. That type of consistency you don't see.
No.
In a league where you, on average, get 4 new playoff teams a year. And you might get it again this year.
And it's funny coming from where this Green Bay team was, you thought they were kind of dead in the water.
Right now, I believe if the season ended today, the Patriots would be a new team. Who
Cincinnati
else?
would be a new team.
Cincinnati would be a new team. The Cowboys would be a new team. The Cardinals would be a new team. The Panthers would be a new team. That's 5. Already eclipsed the 4.
Yeah.
But and it's in a league where turnover is so high from year to year, Matt LaFleur has displayed consistency like I haven't seen ever. Since Bill Belichick in like the heyday of the Patriots.
Yes. It sounds like you're talking yourself into Green Bay.
Again, I need to see them get over the hump. If they get over the hump and make it to Super Bowl Sunday, I will pick them to win. I don't care who they play. They could play Mahomes. They could play Josh Allen. They could play the Derrick Henry. I don't care. If they make it to the Super Bowl, I'm picking the Packers. They need to get there. That's my stipulation.
People don't forget this. Okay. Now, what's the next thing we want to get to?
I want to talk about the fraud that is the Raiders. You suck.
Me?
The Raiders.
Oh.
Talking to Raider Nation right now.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
You suck. You had the opportunity of a lifetime this Sunday night on national television at home to finally, John, finally tell the NFL, tell the Chiefs, tell the fans, tell anyone who tell me, because I've been doubting you since the 3-0 start, that, you know what? We are actually for real. This is us for real. The Chargers had lost earlier in the day. The Broncos had got stomped by the Eagles at home. This was their opportunity to take the AFC West by storm. And instead, and against a Chief team who coming into the game Granted, they had won their past 2 games against the Giants and the Packers. But they did not look good. The offense was not good. Hasn't been good for the past month. So they had a real opportunity to come in and really silence a lot of the doubters. And instead of silencing the doubters, they let Mahomes throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
They did.
They were awful. Derek Carr was awful. Okay? And this team's run of first-round draft picks, which has been garbage. Again, Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett, Clelin Ferrell, who's now a rotation piece for them.
4th overall pick.
Not even a every down starter. That honor goes to Max Crosby, who's been excellent, but was a 3rd-round pick. Right? Mm-hmm. Jonathan Abram, who was their other first-round pick a couple of years back, was targeted 9 times on Sunday Night Football. You know how many catches he allowed on those 9 targets? 9. For over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
Bust. Mike Mayock should be fired at the end of the season. He did a much better job on NFL Network where he wasn't actually picking guys. And if you paid attention to NFL Network when Mike Mayock was there, he never got the goddamn NFL draft right. Ever. There is a reason. These are his picks. Frauds. Blow it up. It's over. It's over.
We're breaking up with the Raiders again.
You're breaking up with the Raiders.
I'm breaking up. I got back together with them, and now I'm breaking up with them.
Frauds.
I'm listening to you.
Who's next?
I think we spoke about the Titans. I was thinking about it just now. We spoke about the Titans last week. I don't think there was really. The Titans, listen, they're still the best team in the AFC right now.
Won a close game against the Saints. Mm-hmm. But
I think it's impressive what they're doing with.
I think last week, even though they won, and they have a very easy schedule remaining the rest of the season.
Number 1 in our power rankings.
Deservedly so. I do think last week you saw a glimpse of what that offense is going to be like without Derrick Henry.
A little bit.
They struggled to get A.J. Brown the ball. Right? Marcus Johnson came out of nowhere, made a lot of catches, which is fine. That's going to happen. Teams are going to say, you know what? I'm going to let Marcus Johnson catch passes instead of A.J. Brown.
And now Julio's out.
Foreseeable
future.
And my question for this team is, can this defense... Because now what's going to have to happen is this defense is going to have to carry this team. I don't know if they could do that. That's my outstanding question.
It might be they might end up looking like a product of the schedule, right? And then you get to the playoffs and you get blitzed. So,
well, we'll see. The one team I do want to talk about and the one team I want to cover before we go on to our next segment is a team that at the beginning of the season, a lot of people, including us, had as one as their bottom 5 teams going into the year. And after about 5 weeks, a lot of people had them as one of their bottom 5 teams of the year. Quietly, they have gotten better. And quietly, they are currently a game out of the playoffs.
I'm nervous. I think I know who you're going to mention.
And that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, that's right. It's not. Okay. I thought you were going to say the Falcons for some reason.
No.
You did mention Philly in the pre-pod meeting.
Eagles just won a very convincing game in Denver, 30-13. And that was easily Jalen Hurts' best game as a pro. Easily. Devontae Smith now for 2 weeks in a row has been the number 1 receiver in that offense.
Very alive and well.
Very alive and well. Defense has been good lately. And it looks like they may be getting Miles Sanders back this week, who hopefully they utilize in the proper way that they will.
Finally, yeah.
Dallas Goedert should be hopefully coming back soon. So it looks like they're going to have a full offense again. Now, I want to look at the Eagles' schedule. Next week,
flowers are blooming that they planted.
Next week, this coming Sunday they play the Saints. Winnable game.
Very winnable game.
I think at home. Tough defense, but a winnable game. Right? That game will tell me a lot about where the Eagles are. 4-7 is tough to come back from to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
5-6 is alive and well.
Yeah. Right now in the NFC, yeah.
Alive and well. Then they go to New York to play the Giants. Winnable game. If you're a playoff team, you got to win that game. Right? Then they stay in New York. They play the Jets. Another winnable game. Okay? Week 14. Okay? They are off week 14. So they have a bye week 14. Then the last 4 weeks of the regular season, they play coming out of the bye, they are home for the Washington football team. Okay? Week 16, they are home for the New York Giants. Week 17, they are in Washington to play the football team again. And then week 18, I believe, if my math is correct, yes, they are home for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to tell you right now, that is a cupcake schedule. Outside of that last game against Dallas, who probably will have nothing to play for in that game.
Starters will be rested.
Right. They should probably have the NFC East locked up by then. You know, the only thing I will say, they may be playing for the number 1 seed. That's it. They may. Don't know, but they may. You got the Saints. You have the football team twice. You got the Giants twice. You got the Jets. It's not a bad schedule.
It's not, Joe. It's
really not a bad schedule.
You know what I'm
saying? Again, if you're a playoff team, you win those games. For right now, they're 4-6, right? So let's argument say you have to go to make the playoffs. You would want to go 3-1 against the Giants and the football team. That means you got to sweep one of those teams, which I think is entirely possible.
They can sweep Washington with no Chase Young,
which is entirely possible. You beat the Jets, but you're at 4-1. Okay. How many games is that?
5.
5. Right. Then
beat the Saints.
Then they got the Saints and the Cowboys. Okay. Let's say they split those. That puts them at 5-2. Right. Beat the Saints, lose to the Cowboys. Beat the Cowboys because they're resting their guys. Lose to the Saints. However it goes. I would like to say you need to beat the Saints this week because a 4-7 locker room is a lot different than a 5-6 locker room.
Correct.
Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're 4-7, then maybe that game against the Giants is now not as winnable because the guys aren't as motivated. You know what I mean? Like
I agree.
A lot of things go into being 5-6 or 4-7. They go 5-2 the rest of the way. That puts them at 9-8. In an NFC right now, where the Carolina Panthers at 5-4 are the number 7 seed, you may be able to get in there.
Anything is possible at this point.
You go 6-1, put yourself at 10-7. I think you're a lock. My point being is, I think the Eagles control their own destiny right now.
You know what I've noticed about them?
What?
The last few weeks before we move on, I just want to say this. They've definitely found their strength, and that's the run game. And it's funny because they didn't do it at all in the beginning of the year.
No, I've been doing it with Jordan Howard.
Yeah, and now it's like Jalen Hurts' passing numbers are down, but the efficiency of the offense is way up. He's running the ball at a much more efficient clip. You're getting all the running backs involved. And when he does throw the ball, he's actually been pretty good because you know what? At the end of the day, the defense starts to respect the run. Then you start to open it up with the pass. It's simple offensive logic. Mm-hmm. They just finally figured it out. It just took them a little bit of time to get going. This team definitely has surprised me, Joe, just like they surprised you. They, like I've been saying this whole pod, I've been giving teams the frisky label.
Right.
They are frisky.
Yeah,
frisky.
I'm with you. All right. That was fun. We're going to come back for a quick break, and we're going to quickly go through our fantasy sleepers and busts and our game picks. So we'll be right back. All right, and we're back here. So, Mr. McCarthy.
Yes, Joe.
We need to discuss our real rough stretch of sleepers and busts here.
For us,
what is happening?
I don't know.
What is happening? It's not good.
We've had a little bit of trouble here.
A little bit. Goodness Lord.
Just a little bit of trouble.
I've had a bad stretch.
I mean, I've had a bad fantasy season to begin with, so I mean, it's not really
bad stretch.
Shocking.
So, and I've had a good fantasy season, which is weird. But you know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna get back on track. We're gonna get back on track.
We are.
Okay?
It's happening.
You have, I believe,
I have the
You know
Bucks
what?
this week.
Let's switch it up a bit. We're going to combine our heads, and we're going to pick sleepers and busts together.
Oh,
Okay?
whoa.
We're gonna give 3 busts. We're gonna keep it 3 busts, 3 sleepers.
Okay.
But we're gonna collab today.
Okay.
Okay? We're gonna switch it up. So let's do the sleepers first. Okay? Week 11. All right. We're going through sleeper quarterback. What's a matchup that you like this week in the NFL? Give me a matchup that you like an actual game, like a game that you may think like I'm.
All right, this is easy for me. This is easy.
Okay,
I
talk
got
to
it.
me.
Mac Jones against Atlanta.
As a sleeper.
As a sleeper.
I love that.
I love Mac Jones against Atlanta.
I
this
love
week.
that. All about that. All right?
I might even start him.
Go ahead. I dare you to do it. Because you're playing me this week in your league, and you need to win in the worst way.
I do. And you can't really lose.
I mean, I could.
You could, but it would kind of be trouble. Anyway, yes, Mac Jones is mine.
So I like Mac Jones. Going against a team that just lost 43-3 to the Cowboys. Patriots are hot right now.
Very.
Very hot. And you know what I like? The defense is putting Mac in a position to deal with short fields. They're getting a lot of turnovers. They may get Damian Harris back this week, which would be very nice for them. And, of course, Ramondre Stevenson steps in and goes for 2 scores and over 100 yards rushing. So, looks like they're just plugging guys in and do what they want. Mac Jones, fantasy sleeper quarterback of the week.
I like it.
Like it. All right. Fantasy bust quarterback of the week.
Are you asking me or you want to take it?
I'm going to take it.
Go ahead.
Carson Wentz.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Let's not go ahead of mine.
I am riding this train of any quarterback who goes against the Buffalo Bills defense struggles. Mike White last week, 4 picks. Okay. Trevor Lawrence 2 weeks ago, no picks, but threw for like 100 yards on 30 passes. Okay. This defense is number 1 against the pass for a reason on defense. Carson Wentz, who has quietly been an excellent fantasy quarterback this season, right? Didn't do great last week. I think he's going to struggle again on Sunday. They are in Buffalo. They came off a game where after the first quarter against Jacksonville, they scored 6 points. They did not score a touchdown after the first quarter. Okay? And we talked about how the Colts are kind of like a mini Titans where they need to get Jonathan Taylor going to kind of open up the offense. The Bills are a top 5 defense against the run. So I think Carson Wentz is going to struggle on Sunday. I'm benching Carson Wentz in fantasy leagues, and I definitely do not want to pick him up in any DFS lineups.
Wow.
Okay?
Nice breakdown there.
Thank you so much. Fantasy running back sleeper.
You know, I'm going to go back to a well on a guy. I'm going to go back to the well on
Okay,
a guy
cool.
that we've picked before.
Okay.
I love Michael Carter's matchup against Miami.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. He's got Joe Flacco.
Against a team who really put down a real good Ravens running attack this
I did.
past Thursday.
I think they just woke up for the Ravens. I think that's a team they just got up for. I don't think they get up for the Jets.
Really?
I think the Jets could win this game. I mean, Flacco's our quarterback. Listen, which was a surprise a little bit, I guess. Carter has been impressive. If not running the ball, he's gotten his targets, and he's been a really, really good pass catching back.
Okay, I want to give you one other guy. We could pick this guy based
Go
off.
ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
I'm going to pick a guy who played really well last week and I think could play well again on Sunday.
Okay.
Darrell Williams. Chiefs.
Yes.
Had a big game against the Raiders on Sunday night. And they're playing the Cowboys at home. Big game against a good team.
That could be a shootout.
Could be a shootout. I like Darrell Williams, but you like Michael Carter. We got to pick one. Who do you have more faith in?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire might come back.
You think so? Is he?
He might. I think they designated him for return. That's the only reason why I'm like a little on Darrell Williams. But
All right, so let's go with Carter.
let's go with Carter. But listen, honorable mention.
Carter, bonus, Darrell Williams. In the flex.
Yes.
Michael Carter, RB2.
I have him as my RB2 in some lineups. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Running back bust of the week goes to... Oh,
I wonder if we're on
God.
the same page. I see a guy, but I wonder who
Who's your guy you see?
I was going to say Antonio Gibson against Carolina
Oh, I'm all over that. Love that. I
because
was
he had
gonna-
a huge game last week, and it's just that was an aberration. I think
Yeah.
he's a bust.
Don't even... Antonio Gibson. Nothing else said. Nothing said.
There you go.
All right. Wide receiver or pass catcher sleeper. Do you have one?
I do have a wide receiver sleeper.
Tech-
Who I am starting in one of my lineups. He's in my flex spot.
Okay, who's that?
You're going to hate this.
Oh, who?
I'm going with Robbie Anderson as my sleeper this week.
I definitely hate that.
Robbie Anderson is going against a putrid Washington secondary who, listen, they woke up for Tampa. This is another team that they woke up for Tampa. Listen, Cam has something to prove. If Cam's going to prove anything in any game this year, it's this game against Washington.
He caught like 3 passes, but one of them was a touchdown.
Yes. Listen, he gets over the top. He was terrible with Sam Darnold,
Right.
like this past season, but in every other situation, he's been great. I think him and Cam do have a little bit of a rapport.
I have a guy.
Go ahead, tell me.
Okay, I have a guy who I think has a really good matchup. Played well last week in the offense, right?
Hit me.
Marcus Johnson, Tennessee Titans.
You mentioned it before.
Okay. Had a big game last week. Okay. He's going against the Houston Texans who suck.
They do suck.
Okay. At home, right? A.J. Brown's going to be probably double covered or anything else that they got going on. I think Marcus Johnson could put up another double-digit performance on Sunday. I love Marcus Johnson. I like Robbie Anderson. So we went with your guy for the running back.
Let's go
We'll
with
go
yours.
with my guy
Let's go
for
with
the
your
wide
guy.
receiver.
Let's go.
Okay?
Let's do it.
So our sleepers are Mac Jones, Michael Carter, and Marcus Johnson. 3 AFC guys. Our pass-catching bust of the week. So far our busts were Carson Wentz and Antonio Gibson. So our pass-catching bust of the week.
What do you got for me?
What do I got for you?
Don't look at my team and then pick a bust.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Come on now.
Don't curse me.
I'm not gonna
You put
do
this Maloik on me, and I don't.
I'm not going to put a Maloik on you. No, it's not going to happen. I am going to say, okay. No, I can't do that. I mean, I want to do that.
Do it.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it because it involves my team.
You don't want to put the Maloik on yourself.
No, my actual football team.
Oh.
Because I think they've actually done fairly well the past 2
who
weeks.
on your
again.
team is going to be a pass catching bust?
No, who they're playing.
Oh,
I think George Kittle's going to bust out this week.
you did look at my team.
I didn't, though. And that's why I didn't want to say it. But here's my thing.
Son of a
The
bitch.
Jaguars have, for 2 weeks in a row now, their defense has been excellent against the pass. Okay?
Okay.
Dawson Knox didn't play against them, but tight end, Stephon Diggs didn't have a great game against them last week. Mo Alley Cox or Jack, they did nothing against them, right? And Michael Pittman had some catches, but Michael Pittman was a wide receiver who was locked up with Shaq Griffin. I don't know. Kittle is clearly the number one pass catching option for pure pass catcher in that offense, right? I think Debo's going to have a big day because they don't have anybody to cover him, which means I think they're going to pay extra attention to Kittle.
We'll roll with it. Roll with Kittle. Roll with him.
Roll with Kittle?
Roll with Kittle.
George
Why
Kittle
not?
bust.
You know what you are?
What am I?
So I don't know if anybody listens to the Bill Simmons podcast. I love Bill Simmons.
Okay.
Shout out Bill Simmons if you're listening to this.
Right.
He always has to figure out a way to mention the Celtics and the Patriots, and you always have to figure out a way to mention the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going through sleepers and busts for fucking Christ's sake, and you picked a player to bust against the Jacksonville Jaguars just so you can talk about the Jaguars defense against tight ends. Bravo, Joe. Really, great job.
I mean, have they not been good the past 2 weeks?
They really have, but I just think it's hilarious how you have to shoehorn it in some way, shape, or form.
Amazing content.
Are you going to pick them in the spread or no?
Well, let's see if the spread is first. All right, why don't you do? You actually got them last week. Plus 10. I told you to pick them plus 10.5, and they covered.
They did.
Okay.
They did. That was an eruption in this room when we did that
Covered.
last week. All right, so
Fantasy Sleepers and Plus. Let's roll through these quick.
All right, so I am going with New England minus 6.5 for my
Me
first
too.
pick.
I'm going to pick that too.
Yes, let's do
By
it.
the way, before we do this, I went 0-5 last week. Mm-hmm. You went 2-3. So now we are both. No, it's not true. I am 24-26. You are, because we had opposite records. You are 23-25. I have a 1-game hold on you at the moment.
One game.
I have a 1-game
That doesn't
hold.
help when we both pick the same team. All right, go ahead. New England. We're both picking New England? Minus 6.5?
No, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. You are 21-24. You're 23-27. and I'm 24-26. So again, one game.
Still one game back.
But that's the record right now.
Okay.
So we're both picking New England.
Both picking New England minus 6.5.
Okay.
I am picking.
Jags are 6.5 on 6.5 dogs. I can't. No, I can't do that. Okay.
All right, we'll circle back to that one.
Right.
I am going to pick the Indianapolis Colts plus 7.5.
Interesting.
I think Buffalo wins this game, but I think
it's close?
I think it's a close game. Buffalo hasn't played up to their competition at all.
I hate them going to do this. Give me Carolina minus 3 at home.
You're taking Carolina minus 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to take that.
I'm taking Carolina minus 3 at home. That's one of mine. So far we both got New England. I got Carolina. You took the Colts plus 7.5.
Okay. Give me New England. No, I'm sorry. Give me Philadelphia minus 2
Ooh,
against the Saints.
that's an I believe pick right there.
Home, getting points, hot.
Okay.
Well, everything we said about Philly, I'm rolling with Philly.
Give me the Packers minus 2.5 in Minnesota. I think that's a generous spread.
It is.
I think that's a generous
The
spread.
line should be higher. It's a fishy line.
Okay. What else do you like? We picked 3. Need 2 more.
Give me Cincinnati minus 1.
I was just looking at that. Okay.
Win this game by a field goal, we're good. How many more do I got? Because
you got 2. You got 1 more. You picked New England. You just picked Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and you picked Philly.
no, I picked Buffalo.
No, you took Indy.
Oh, I did take Indy?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I
You
did.
wanna
Plus
change
7.5.
it?
No. Plus
Okay.
7.5.
My upset special, I am taking the Giants
That's mine!
plus 11 in Tampa on Monday night.
I'm taking them too as my upset special.
I don't think they're going to win.
No.
They're definitely covering that 11 though.
Yes, I
think
agree.
they are.
100%.
So that's okay. So we have 2 similar ones. All right, it is what it is. So that's your 5 then.
That's my 5.
So your 5 is Indy plus 7.5, Giants plus 11, Bengals minus 1, Philly minus 2, and Patriots minus 6.5.
I might go bet that at FanDuel.
Okay, I am gonna go Giants plus 11. I'm gonna go Packers minus 2.5. I'm gonna go Titans minus 10 against the Texans.
Okay.
I'm going to go Carolina minus 3 against Washington and Patriots minus 6.5 in Atlanta tomorrow night.
Wow.
I was going to take the Jags plus 6.5
I was too.
until I saw the Titans minus 10. I said, I got to do that. That's too easy. So that is it. John, we will not, major announcement. We are not doing a podcast next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. So from our families to yours, I'd like to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. Make sure that you eat a bunch of food. Make sure that you watch the putrid Bears-Lions game on Thursday, the early game, before 2 very good games, I believe. You have the Cowboys and Raiders at 4:30. Mm-hmm. And then I'm pretty sure the Thursday night game next week is Bills at Saints.
Interesting.
I could confirm that. Yes, Bills at Saints Thursday night. Thursday Night Football, Thanksgiving night. If you guys do Black Friday shopping, happy Black Friday shopping to everybody. I do that. I get 80% of my Christmas presents done on Black Friday.
Do it safely, please, because it gets crazy out there.
So that's all we got. John, anything else to say to the folks at home?
Wow, we won't be in the seat for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We'll be tweeting on Sunday
will.
and Thursday.
At PSP Pod
Yes,
on the Twitter.
but
please.
we will not be doing an episode next week. So make sure you get 2 weeks to listen to this one and let us know your thoughts. And we will see you in December.
Wow.
Peace and love, baby. See you guys later.